You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. Congestion pricing has gotten the green light from the feds. Starting on January 5th, drivers will be charged $9 for driving below 60th Street in Manhattan. Earlier this week, the MTA approved Governor Kathy Hochul's reduced toll rate, which is originally $15. Donald Trump has said he is against congestion pricing. Transportation reporter Alfonso Castillo explains if Trump will be able to scrap the program once he takes office.
With the federal government giving final approval, the MTA feels pretty confident that it's not something that could be just revoked. They make the point that their congestion pricing plan is based on a federal program that was instituted more than 20 years ago under a Republican administration. Certainly, Trump has talked about terminating it if given the opportunity. That was before he was elected. Since he was elected, I think he softened his wording a little bit.
Now, several lawsuits could complicate things. The latest was filed by the town of Hempstead.
This is going to hurt the men and women, as I said, law enforcement, teachers. These are not the titans of industry that have to go to the city and drive their cars in. These are men and women who work in retail, and they don't have that ability to jump on a train and then get on a subway.
Now you can read the latest on congestion pricing. Just go to newsday.com, click Get More, below the Newsday TV video box. And a 22-year-old was killed after being hit by a Nassau police car in Wantagh. Authorities say it happened around 6:30 this morning on Wantagh Avenue. Two officers were also taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The victim has not yet been identified. And starting next month, you won't be able to buy dogs, cats, or rabbits in New York State. Pet stores will be banned from selling these animals starting on December 15th. The Puppy Mill Pipeline Act is designed to stop abusive breeders. Pet stores will be able to charge rent to rescue organizations to showcase their animals for adoption instead. An adoption day was celebrated at the Long Island Aquarium in Riverhead today.
I finally reached out to my best friend Michael and asked for help. It was a miracle. His parents, Terry and Michael, were willing to help me. They knew my home life situation very well. They took my sister and I in and became our foster parents.
The day is intended to raise awareness about hundreds of thousands of children in foster care in the United States. A conference room was turned into a temporary courtroom where 11 kids were adopted. And Daniel Jones and the Giants are parting ways. The team's president put out a statement saying it was a mutual decision and that they are disappointed in how things worked out. Jones has been with the team for 6 seasons. Newsday sports reporter Neil Best tells us what could happen next for the quarterback.
Once he clears waivers on Monday, he's a free agent, and there's a lot of teams out there that have backup quarterbacks that are worse than Daniel Jones. You know, the Cowboys have been a popular guess, which would be the juiciest storyline. I don't think even if that happened, he'd be ready to play on Thanksgiving against the Giants, but that would be the best storyline. But there's so many teams that have either injuries at quarterback or who just want an insurance policy if something goes wrong, because there's a lot of games left. I mean, these teams have 7 games left, and I think he will find a place to go. Now, next year is another question. That'll be interesting to see where he goes next year and whether he can compete to be a starter somewhere else.
A record Thanksgiving travel week is expected across the country and here in New York. Just under 72 million people across the U.S., including about 5 million in New York, are expected to drive at least 50 miles between Tuesday and December 2nd. AAA says that's up nearly 2 million from last year.
If you look at gasoline prices, that kind of explains why we are where we are. Gasoline is on Long Island below $3 a gallon, 47 cents per gallon less than a year ago. And that's a strong motivator for a lot of people to get out and hit the road.
Coming off a busy election season, there may be some heated debates at the Thanksgiving table. Joining me now to discuss how to navigate hot topics with family members is trauma expert Dr. Sarah Glass. Now, Dr. Glass, what should we all keep in mind heading into a busy holiday season?
Oh my gosh, this one is going to be so tough for so many people. I already see people struggling and questioning in my New York City practice. And I want to tell you, first of all, no one can tell you whether or not you should go and see your family this season. It's been an extraordinarily difficult year, and only you know in your gut what feels right for you at this time. If you do choose to see your family, know that it is okay to love them, even if their views differ from yours. There's no moral standing or rectitude in deciding, I'm not going to talk to those people. You know, they're your family. You're allowed to love them no matter what. But when you go there, keep that focus in mind. Remember, you're there to share food, to share a meal, to connect, to have relationships for yourself, for your children, for your nieces and nephews. You're not there to make a point, not over the holidays.
So what are some things a person can do to disengage when things get too heated or uncomfortable?
I mean, there's one technique I really love as a therapist called the disarming technique, which goes like this. Someone makes a comment that you completely disagree with. You know, that person will ruin our country. And what you do is you identify their underlying emotion and you relate to that. So you might say, I so love your passion. I really appreciate how much you care. Instead of arguing the point, connect on the emotion. That's one. Two is accept that you're never going to change their minds.
Now, how can people who disagree find common ground as well?
You know, I took my 4-year-old to the polls this year, and he said, Mama, what are we doing? And I said, I'm trying to keep you safe. And I looked around me and I realized that some people were going to vote differently than I did. And I remembered in that moment that everyone's trying to do the same thing. We're trying to keep our families safe. Other people may do it differently than you are planning to do it, than you're trying to do it. But remember that we're all the same underneath. We want to be happy. We want to be healthy. We want financial security. We want to be safe. And so remember the people, you know, and the humanity underneath the views, and try to relate on that.
Now, to read more about how to talk politics with your family, go to Newsday.com, click Get More, pull the Newsday TV video box.
Feed Me is brought to you by PC Richard & Son.
The holidays are coming up, so who has the best pies? Lisa DeStefano has today's Feed Me TV.
From savory to sweet.
I have never seen so many pies in one place.
Hometown Bake Shop in Centerport bakes an assortment of pies all day, every day.
The reason people come here is every single thing is made from scratch. Our pies are based off just our love for food. They're the standard with a little bit of a twist. This is literally Thanksgiving. So we roast whole turkeys, stuffing, mashed potatoes, sweet potato, gravy, zucchini, and cranberry sauce. Beef bourguignon, eggplant Napoleon. So we put it in our Sunday sauce, and then on top fresh pesto and burrata cheese.
I have never even seen a pie like this. I can't wait to taste it. It's so good. That was like a whole dinner. Now it's time for dessert. White chocolate raspberry, oh my goodness. Now that is a piece of pie. I have no words. I've never tasted anything like this before. And there are so many pies to pick from at Young's Farm, and they all look delicious.
They have all the classics: pumpkin, pear, raspberry peach, cherry, and apple. all baked on site on the farm in Old Brookville.
Every morning we're making the pies fresh. You know, we produce a lot, especially this time of year. We're really ramping up for Thanksgiving. And, you know, Thanksgiving is like the major holiday in terms of pie production.
That's a lot of apple in your apple pie.
Sure. You know, so we'll probably, you know, produce upwards of 3,000 to 3,500 pies the week of Thanksgiving.
The pies are then sold at the farm's market.
Which pie to pick? I feel committed to the apple crisp.
Apple crisp is a great choice.
I might not be able to wait until I get home.
We can give you a fork.
I might need one to go.
Elisa DiStefano, Newsday TV.
For more on the best pies, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. All right, now let's take a look at your Long Island weather. And it was a wet one outside today and yesterday, but we expected that. Take a look tonight. You can see that we're below 40 and the showers continue. As for tomorrow, we're in the 50s and we have wind to deal with pretty much all day. As for the 7-day forecast, well, we're lucky enough to have another dry day on Sunday, but the rain moves in later in the week and even on Thanksgiving for now.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great weekend.